It was good. And welcome back. Earlier today, I went ahead and recorded my reaction to, well, it wasn't really my reaction, my excitement and I guess analysis of the trailer for Armored Core 6. And then I had also said that I had started watching the video about where FromSoft shares the story and stuff, and I only got to, just a little bit of it. So I figured, why not go ahead and just record a moment where we just go ahead and we watch it. So I'll be able to hear it live. So this is all gonna be like my actual reaction to the trailer and stuff and details and everything else like that. So yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into this. Make sure my volume's down a little bit, and yeah, let's see what's happening. Okay, I wasn't down too much.
Augmented human C4621 has awakened.
What's up, everyone? My name is Mitchell Saltzman, and today I'm joined remotely all the way from Japan by producer Yasunori Ogura to talk all about Armored Core 6. How are you?
Hi there, I'm great, thank you. I'm Yasunori Ogura from From Software, producer on Armored Core 6. It's great to be here.
How long has Armored Core 6 been in development, and what has it been like for From Software to return to this franchise that was such a big part of the company for such a long time?
So we have been cultivating development staff through our experience with recent titles, and there were many members of staff, including Miyazaki and myself, who've wanted to make a new Armored Core game for a long time. So really, not making a new Armored Core was never really an option. It was a case of when rather than if. As to the game's direction and development, in around 2018, Miyazaki and some core members of the team began initial direction and forming the basic core concept of AC6. And after prototyping was complete, our director Yamamura took over on the project. However, as you know, we have several projects going on at the same time within the company, so we had to get an ideal allocation of resources.
Elden Ring,
to get the right staff on board,
Dark
which resulted
Souls,
in
all
a
those,
slightly longer wait,
pretty much.
but we're happy to finally bring a new Armored Core to our fans.
And I'm so
can you
happy
tell
to
us
see
a little
it.
bit about the story of Armored Core 6 and whether newcomers
This is what I was
will
talking
be able
about
to
earlier.
jump right into this entry if they haven't played any of the other ones?
This is a brand new story and has no direct link to previous titles. AC6 takes place in a future where interstellar travel is commonplace, not on Earth, but on a fictional planet in a distant star system called Rubicon 3. Rubicon is a devastated planet that was razed to ash in a great disaster caused by the outbreak of a mysterious new substance called coral.
Activating cerebral coral control device.
Which occurred half a century before the events of the game take place. At the outset of the game and the story, the player learns that coral, which was thought lost in this great disaster, has been rediscovered, and extraterrestrial corporate forces have begun an invasion race to acquire the rights to this mysterious and powerful new substance. So they are at conflict with the indigenous forces who are resisting their invasion on the planet Rubicon. And the player, as a lone independent mercenary and AC pilot, is thrust into this Rubicon war for coral. So although AC6 is a numbered title, the setting and story are completely new, and we believe it makes a great first entry into the series for newcomers and old fans alike.
We're close to Rubicon. Wake the
Oh,
dog
so that
up.
means there's gonna
So
be
let's
more.
talk a little bit about Rubicon as a setting. Is there anything that's unique about the planet that will allow for kind of unique mission structures that people haven't seen in the Armored Core series previously?
There are two things we'd like to convey to both newcomers and old hands to the series. Armored Core offers two unique game experiences. First is this dynamic, three-dimensional action that can only be achieved with mix. And the second is the ability to customize your own personal AC by combining multiple parts and decorating it to your liking with painting and decals and the like. So these player-assembled, player-controlled ACs are able to fly freely through the air and handle multiple weapons simultaneously and turn on a dime, dash in different directions at once. This makes for a dynamic and very aggressive combat style that makes full use of the three-dimensional space, and we feel that this has always been an appeal of the Armored Core series and is an appeal of the mech action genre.
For die-hard Armored Core fans, what
All right, so I gotta pause real quick because all right, so in my reaction video when I was talking about this part here, let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, but right there, I'm not gonna go back. Anyways, where I was talking about how in the video it was showing like the Armored Core just like freely flying. My bad in the error, because when I was doing the other video, I said, that looked like some kind of new feature. Technically, it's kind of a new feature. It seems like it's not going to use up any of our energy gauge to be able to fly around. Look, it's been a while since I played, so I may not get all the terms correct and whatnot. It's been so long, but anyways, if I'm correct, yeah, I believe it is energy, because when you use energy weapons like plasma cannons or anything, it takes away from that. But anyways, getting off subject. Basically, what I'm saying is, yes, you could fly around like that, especially in Armored Core 4 and for Answer, there was definitely that ability. It's just that in this video, it seems like you're able to traverse so much further, and almost like there's an option for like infinite boost or something like that, which Armored Core 4 Answer did. When you beat the game, you actually did get the ability to switch to having infinite boost. The problem was that everyone else got that too. So if you were going up against like White Glen could just boost everywhere because it's infinite boost gauge. So, but that's it. But all right, let's. I'm gonna shut up so we can continue watching. Here we go.
What are the elements of Armored Core 6 that those hardcore fans are going to find appealing about this game?
With AC6, one area we focused on was to make sure that the customization aspect is not just about parameters going up and down and numerical values changing, but how these changes are reflected in the feel of the action as much as possible. In particular, the leg parts, which control the AC's movement, you might have a tank type legs that can perform drift turns, and this changes the very basic behavior and traversal type of the AC. We also made sure that the behavior of weapons, such as the way they shoot, how they recoil, how their projectiles behave, we tried to make sure that this all makes a big difference in how the game feels and plays.
So, speaking a little bit about that customization, Armored Core games have a bit of a reputation for being very complex, with many stats to consider, parts to swap in and out. Is there anything else that you guys are planning on doing with Armored Core 6 to make it a little more approachable for newcomers who might not be used to that level of complexity?
As you mentioned, Armored Core has always been a game with many parameters and is a game where you can enjoy the complexity and depth it offers, but we feel it's also a game where you can enjoy simply by assembling your AC without thinking too deeply about it, and adjust the appearance to your liking and simply get out there and pilot it and take it into combat. That said, in regard to new players, we've taken careful steps with the onboarding and level design in the early stages of the game, so that players can deepen their understanding step by step, little by little, and work their way into that fun of the more complex parts. We've also prepared a training simulator where the player can learn the basics of action and assembly using sample ACs, and we've also tried to make the controls more intuitive, so that we hope that those who have no experience with the series will feel free to enter and enjoy the feel of piloting their very own Armored Core.
Are there any lessons that you guys have learned over the many years you've spent developing the Souls games that you take into the development of Armored Core 6, even though they're kind of two very different genres?
Armored Core 6 is an attempt to take both the knowledge and experience gained from the development of our previous titles and combine it with the fun of mech customization that the AC series has always embraced. And in this sense, we hope to create a new mech action game that is worthy of modern From Software standards. Specifically, we're developing this game with an awareness of the things that From Software has always embraced in its other action games, such as a intricate map structure, combat design that allows players to deal with enemies by carefully observing their movements, and the ability to overcome challenging situations with ingenuity and creativity. These are all, of course, things we've kept in mind with AC6 as well. However, as you mentioned, the basic format and genre of Armored Core is completely different from games in, for instance, the Souls lineage, so there are no aspects of the game mechanics or gameplay that can be directly observed.
You ready to climb the wall?
Can you talk a little bit about your goals with the combat design, and are there any kind of mechanics that players should know about that perhaps didn't exist in previous Armored Core games?
In terms of points we focused on this time around, I would say that individuality of the melee weapons is one of the key points.
Thank
Armored
you.
Core is mainly a shooting game at heart, and that's exactly why we had this policy of having more unique melee weapons this time around. So in addition to the well-known pile bunker and the cluster bomb launcher that you might have seen in the trailer, there are also a variety of weapons with different animations and more unconventional characteristics, such as a chainsaw and a laser lance, and things like this. In the trailer, you may have also seen a part where the core is deployed by an AC to generate a shockwave, and the pile bunker is then used against an opponent who is reeling back from this shockwave. This kind of building combos with multiple weapons aspect is an appeal of AC6's unique assembly and combat, and we hope the players will enjoy using their creativity and asking themselves, what combination of weapons can I use to create my ideal combo attacks and secure victory?
So is there any one new thing, whether it's a mechanic or a mech part or a weapon, that you're particularly proud of and are excited for players to experience in Armored Core 6?
I'd like players to mostly look forward to something we touched on earlier, which is this using their ingenuity and creativity to create a combination of their own making, and a combination of the various parts and weapons at their disposal. So for example, they might be dashing across the battlefield while shooting ballistic weapons and letting missiles fly in every which direction. These missiles will connect with their enemy, knock them off balance, and then they'll use their assault boost to dash in with a quick burst of speed and finish with a melee strike.
Okay, so
This
they are
kind
using
of player-created combo and their own unique combination of weaponry and mobility will allow for this new aggressive, offensive style of AC combat, and we hope this is something that reinvigorates the series and that new and old fans alike can enjoy.
Multiplayer has always been a big part of the Armored Core series. Is there anything you can tell us about multiplayer in Armored Core 6?
So I believe ACV was more focused on multiplayer as the last title in the series, but first of all, the main content of AC6 is positioned as a single-player campaign mode where you progress through a more traditional mission structure. There will be an online PvP mode where players can compete against each other with ACs they have built and share their AC data and emblems of their own making with other users. But first and foremost, the story missions in AC6 are single player only. We would like players to go in there, become the lone mercenary lifestyle, and enjoy this aspect of the game first and foremost. We do hope to share more details about the online aspect at a later date, so please stay tuned for that.
That boss is gonna be a pain in the ass.
Let's see how far they can fly. On borrowed wings.
All right, well, that about wraps it up. Ogura-san, thank you so much for your time. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon is set for release this August 25th on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. Thanks for watching, and for everything else, keep it right here on IGN.
Alright, so I'm gonna go back real quick. The fact that they were talking about a single player campaign in Armored Core 5 and also on Verdict Day, you could become a mercenary and actually join other people's missions and help them out. I know I did that. That's why I said I was a pretty damn good mercenary back in the day, because I used to help people out. I think I was like ranked 4th in my state when they did state rankings and stuff like that. The thing that sucked about that is you succeeded, you got a good score. If you lost the mission, you may end up your ranking with tank. And I think I went from being 4th to 7th because somebody called me for a boss mission and they died literally at the start of the mission. They died in the first hit. So I did my best to try and help them out. The thing is that you never know like what the mission is. At least I don't think you really get a chance to know what the mission is. I think you chose your Armored Core, or I don't know why I keep saying Armored Core. It's just because it's been so long. You chose your AC, and then you just got thrown into the mission. But I'm glad that they are adding more melee options, because I've always been a fan of having a saber on my AC. Definitely trying to do like saber builds where it's just like I have sabers on each arm, and then I might have like, you know, machine gun on the back, or just missiles on the back and stuff. But I try to go for that speed comp build, so it makes me happy to know that they're putting emphasis on it. And it's actually kind of cool because here we have it. I'm gonna go ahead and mute this again. Look at it earlier. So in this section, once we get to it, you can see that got like a double blade here, which is kind of cool. Like the arm is actually extending out too. Then you've got the super blade right there that impales the person, and then that, and then it looks like it's just further. So the blades have never gone that far before, at least not that far of a range. Like almost, you know, they typically, like in an example, when you think of a Gundam saber, for example, like that's as far as they would go. But now it looks like, you know, it's just best example, Vegito from Dragon Ball Z doing his saber. So those so that's I mean, I'm excited about the game. Definitely love the direction they're going with it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited for it. So I'm just like, I'm ecstatic. Like this is an easy day one buy. I don't care if it's got bugs. I don't care if it's almost unplayable. It's being added to the collection. I just don't know if I'm gonna bring it to the if I'm gonna get it for my PS4 or if I'm gonna get it for PC. I might get it for PC, you know, just for that 60 frames goodness and stuff. I'll have to check the specs and make sure my computer can handle it. But yeah, I am excited for this. This was very informative and very good. Definitely very interested in some of these boss characters that they have in here, especially this guy. That's some cheapness right there. Oh, which reminds me of another point. I can't remember what he was talking about certain weapons and combinations. It also seems like, oh, I know where it was during the trailer. Find it. Nope, I'm there. It was right here. So that was with it was right here. It almost seems like after this scene, when you see that and that's coming over the head. First off, I can't wait to build that armor core. It almost seems like they're gonna bring back the I can't remember what the weapons are called now, but they're basically these overly sized weapons that typically jettison apart. Like, you know, one was like 6 chainsaws on one arm and would spin rapidly, but you lost literally your entire left arm for it to take its place, and it also damaged the hell out of your armor core as well. But it was like you could easily one-shot boss. I think I used it to one-shot one of the bosses just because I was like, does this really work or something like that? And it did. All I had to do is just make sure I landed it, and it only works for a certain amount of time too. But it looks like they're gonna add that. So it looks like they're gonna do both Armored Core 5 and Armored Core 4 like mashed together. Definitely Armored Core 4 style gameplay and styled parts, and then a couple things from Armored Core 5. I'm ecstatic. I am ecstatic. I cannot wait. I'm gonna build this one right here that's on the screen. I'm gonna build that one and go through as many missions as I can with it. The funny thing is, I always try to build the ones that they always show on the covers, and or that they use in the cinematics. And of course, you know, they're always good, but they're not like the best because, you know, they're very limited. But I just can't say it enough. I can't wait. This game is gonna be great. This game is gonna be great. But that's it for me. I think that's enough out of me geeking out over Armored Core stuff. I got things I need to be doing. Oh yes, because it is time for me to throw down with my buddies. So, anyways, let me know what your comments are down below. You know, are you excited? Are you hyped? One more point I'm gonna make. I will agree that the customization side, yes, it is a bit overwhelming because you get a list of all these parts. It's just like, but it's wonderful. So I don't think it's ever overwhelmed anybody, unless you just, you know, couldn't like figure out what is this do, what is that do, what is this, what is that, and stuff. But I mean, it's just one of those games just like you get so much, you know, you can do so much with it, and the creativity that people have is insane. And also, I do want to say this, without Armored Core 5, and Verdict Day, they pushed 5 versus 5 combat style, or 6 versus 6, where one person was watching, or one person from each team was watching the whole time battlefield. I am a firm believer that we would not have Gundam Battle Operation 2 if it was not for Armored Core 5, because it plays the exact, it doesn't play the exact same way, but that 5 versus 5 style is almost spot on. So that's it. Let me know what your comments are down below. And until next time, keep the vibe and rewind. Peace.